Welcome to this channel. My name is Paul Tavares and I'm a lecturer of science. This channel will cover a range of different courses, including GCSE, A-level, T-level, and topics from Key Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and those subjects that you all might be interested in and have emailed and messaged me asking for requests. So today's topic will cover organizations and policies from the sector of science and health. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, to leave comments, requests, questions, and I hope you enjoy the content. Every organization needs to ensure that they operate within the remit of the law. That is, that they adhere to policies and legislation that have been set out by the government. And non-compliance can have serious repercussions on that particular organization. They need to have ways in which they hold confidential data and processes put in place to protect people of all groups, in particular those who have protected characteristics. Protected characteristics are those that tend to get discriminated against. For example, race, age, sex, sexual orientation, and religious belief. People make judgments all the time. We all have preferences. And we need to become aware of our unconscious judgments and our conscious judgments. Sometimes we have a preference for one particular thing over another. And on a more serious note, we need to understand how society is constantly evolving and changing, and in order to be more inclusive and understanding in any organization, we need to act with professionalism. There are two types of discrimination: direct and indirect. And so policies, procedures are put in place to ensure that nobody in an organization is discriminated against directly or indirectly. And to comply with the various acts of Parliament that have been put in place. There are many acts and policies and regulations that we need to adhere to in any organization, whether it's corporate, in the health, science sector. Become familiar with the acts and regulations that you need to. It is important to read through them and get a general understanding of what it is they wish to achieve. So I would suggest that you read through the Race Relations Act, Health and Safety at Work Act, and the Equality Act. Those three are a good start. But there are many other acts and regulations that you need to become familiar with in this course. And the wonderful thing about this course is that every single organization, whether in science and health or in a totally different industry, requires you to be familiar with these acts because they are spread out across the country and they apply to every organization operating within the United Kingdom. There are a lot of policies and procedures put in place, and you have to understand and have a good grasp of what they set out to achieve. Every person who comes into an organization needs to sign a formal contract, and there are many terms and conditions in that contract. So understanding your contract, whether you are in the health or science sector, is of paramount importance, especially whilst going through what is called a performance review. Now, performance reviews are sometimes called appraisals, and our work is actually reviewed constantly at various different points, team meetings, team briefs, etc. But a performance review is almost like a one-to-one that you might have with your tutor, where they go through your work, how you've done in the various different subject areas that you have taken on, and targets, objectives, aims are set out. And those aims could include many different things in a science or health organization, from what courses you need to take in order to become compliant. And some of those courses are mandatory in all organizations, like fire safety training. And it's very important to understand that continual professional development and constantly improving oneself is seen as a must, certainly in the science and health sector. And that is called CPD, or, as I have already stated, continuous professional development. So that might even involve attending a seminar and having that seminar signed off on a list of things that you must do in order to be compliant with the organization itself. Disciplinary policies exist to make sure that people are not acting outside of what is acceptable in a company. And so a disciplinary policy may actually follow a performance review. And grievance policies exist so that people who feel that they have been treated unfairly, or the conditions within the organization are not adequate, can bring that to the employer's attention in a more formal manner. So I'd like you all to do very well in this course. It's rather new and there's a lot to learn. So I'd like to give you some homework. And in particular, I'd like you to look up what the word quality means. What is quality? Quality is very important because performance reviews happen all the time in organizations. So what does the word quality mean? And look up what the difference between quality control and quality assurance is, because both are very important in an organization. What does the word assurance mean? What does the word control mean? And what about conscious and unconscious bias? Think about that and how it might relate to the terminology used in your course, like direct and indirect discrimination. Look up what the rights of an employee are. What are the rights of an employee? What are the rights and responsibilities and duties of an employee, and where are those things set out? And what are written warnings, verbal warnings? Look up grievance policies. I know that we have covered that, but it's important that you do your own research. What happens if someone is dismissed and they believe it's unfair? Think about that. What is unfair dismissal? Who do people go to in order to complain if they feel that they've been unfairly dismissed? What are European standards? What is a CE mark? What are ISO standards? ISO? And why have standards in science and technology? Why do we even have them? So thanks for listening. I hope that you found this useful, and I hope I've inspired you to do a little bit of self-learning and go off and try things, read around the subject, because background reading is so powerful and can help you in your studies. The T-level is quite a comprehensive course, and I've actually enjoyed teaching it. If I could turn back time, I'd probably take a T-level because it gears you up for industry, and it covers aspects that are very important that are not covered in the A-level syllabus. I mean, that being said, there are pros and cons to any course, but I think that the T-level is wonderful because all organizations that I have personally worked in science and health have trained new employees in this. And so taking this, you will essentially hit the floor running, and you can concentrate more on the actual work itself and what you need to do for that organization. See you in the next video.